the end of March, I'd made $1,500 total the entire month with copywriting. By the end of April, I made $12,000. It was a crazy
Awesome.
jump.
How did that
Yeah.
happen? Okay, so for the audience, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Claire. She's been with me for about a year, and you said 10 to 12K a month, but I know you've been at 15. Is that right?
Close to. Close to. I know there was a month that I was anticipating hitting 15 and we didn't really hit the numbers that I thought we would, and then it just was more like 12. But yeah, 15 is definitely my goal for like this month slash next month.
What a letdown to be 22 years old, doing this part time, hitting 12K a month. I mean, it's still awesome. So, before we hopped on, you said that the story of you getting to where you're at now is like interesting.
Aggressively relatable. Just so
So,
relatable. Yeah.
okay, so let's just jump right in. Tell me what happened. Everything.
All right. Okay. So I joined Inner Circle August of last year. So like almost a full year. Before that, I had no, like literally zero copy experience. I don't even think I knew what copywriting was until Copy MBA. Like genuinely, like as unaware as it could possibly get. So anyways, I joined Inner Circle. I'm like diving in full force, attending all the coaching calls, doing all the outreach, whatever. And I think like a month or two goes by and I'm just like not getting responses. No responses, no real prospects, like probably hadn't even gotten on a sales call at that point. And I was just like, all right, I'm doing something horribly wrong. Like this is taking way too long. So from there it was basically just like, I don't know, another month of outreach going up and down, like getting a bit better responses, but like not really moving anywhere. Ended up signing my first client, but that wasn't even through cold outreach. That was through a connection in the Inner Circle. It was like literally in the opportunities channel. And I was like, let's go, sign my first client, which was like a fine, mediocre client. It was like a solid like $1,000 a month. Anyways, after that, I signed an agency the next month. And I ended up signing, I think it was like 3 or 4 agencies between the months of November to January. And everybody thought I was like fucking crushing it. Like everybody was like, Claire's actually killing the game. She's got to be at like 10, 15K. But I was so insecure in my writing ability that like I was lowballing every single retainer. Everybody that came to me that was like, are you cool with working on hourly? I was like, absolutely. Like really like so totally underselling myself, right? And so at one point, I think, so this was February. I thought I was about to sign 2 big deals, didn't sign them, and actually had some client turnover. So instead of hitting like, I think I was anticipating 5K a month, I ended up hitting like 2 or 3 and was going into March knowing that it was about to be my lowest month in like 4 months, right? And so I'm like going into March and I'm like shitting my pants. I'm like, I'm actually like, this is so embarrassing. And that was the month we did Copy Olympics, right? Those March?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't know if you remember this, but like I was so like, just I was very unactive in Slack for like all of February and January. So I didn't even hear about Copy Olympics until the day of the draft. So when you guys had like the drafting coaching call, I was on the call and I applied on the call and you almost didn't let me do it. You were like, that sets a bad precedent. Like, I don't know if we should do that. Literally almost didn't let me do it. I was the last person that applied. And then Coach Alex got me on his team. And our team did fucking terrible. But having that entire month with like one-on-one access to Alex literally changed my income. It was insane. So I spent all of March, which was my lowest month, like in so long. I spent the entire month doing literally nothing but outreach. A little bit of client work that I did have, but I was doing nothing but outreach. Literally spamming the fuck out of Alex. He was probably like, Claire, like, you need to piss off. Like, come on. Anyways, the end of March, I'd made $1,500 total the entire month with copywriting. By the end of April, I made $12,000. Yeah. And it was like, it was a crazy jump.
How did that happen?
Honestly, it was like, it was honestly wild. Like every week there was something new, whether it was a new client or like a client wanted a new like 7-day campaign. And yeah, it was wild. It was really fast.
That's crazy. That's a
Yeah.
crazy jump. So like, what were you thinking when that happened? Like, just dopamine, just firing, just feeling insane.
I booked a trip. I went to go see my brother who lives on the other side of the country, but I remember being out there and hanging out with him and like yeah, I mean like I had a massive income jump, right? So I'm there hanging out with him and we went like fucking around like exploring and whatever. And I remember we went to like we were up in Banff. We were hanging out in Banff and
Mhm.
we were sitting outside on like a deck and it was so nice out and I remember sitting there and being like, "Man, like I wish I could get like a summer job and just like work out here." And he was like, "What the fuck? Like you can move here. Like you can do that." Like it was like kind of one of those things where it was like my head definitely didn't catch up to what I was, you know what I mean? Because it happened so quickly, but yeah.
That's always a cool moment when you like realize your own freedom. And that was something I did want to talk about where it's like out of all of the people that are like doing well in Inner Circle who are like above 10K a month, there's very few that actually have like a life. I think like
Hmm.
Mao balances it pretty well. Like Mao like travels a bunch. Like he's doing a bunch of cool stuff. Like he's
He
like
doesn't even have a home. He literally just hops around. It's insane.
no, he's like that. You know that meme of like the ant that has like a sack on his shoulder? He looks like
Yes.
that, but
Literally.
he's actually got motion.
Yeah.
And like I see your stories, and like it always looks like you're doing some random little like unemployed shit in the middle of the week.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
big time.
what is your like? How have you decided to sort of like design your lifestyle like with work plus like all this like little adventures you want to go on? Like, how does that work for you?
It's definitely taken some getting used to, I will say that. I think like once I really started to kind of realize like, okay, I can afford to do way more than I thought I could. Um, I immediately made plans to move. So I'm moving at the end of the month, like leaving Newfoundland, obviously. Um, and started traveling. I mean, I booked a trip to Miami like 3 days before I left. Went down to see Val, who's also in Inner Circle. I go to Mexico in 3 days. Yeah, I don't know, just like making decisions, acting on them, but also like knowing that like you have to have kind of the I don't know, you have to be able to manage it with work, which is hard but doable, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Because
how
it's not
many
like I'm
hours a
taking
week?
time off.
Yeah, you got to kind of like balance like doing it. But you, that's the
Yeah,
beautiful thing about what we do is like we can do that.
exactly.
It
Yeah,
still stresses me the fuck out. Like I remember, like I went to Mexico when I first started Cardinal Agency, so I still had a couple
yeah,
freelancing clients, but I was mostly trying to build the agency, and so like I could like do the work, but like trying to build something new was like really tough. But like if you're trying to
that's
travel and just maintain, like
yeah.
you can maintain 12 to 20K a month traveling, no problem.
That's like almost exactly the spot that I'm in. Like I hit 12K a month and then was like, okay, I'm fucking off. Like I'm taking a minute, I'm just fucking off. And so just like been hopping around traveling, just kind of like big chilling, you know what I mean? Um, and now I'm kind of back at the spot where like I could afford to still be just like vibing, but like it gets to a point, I'm sure you can relate to this, where you just get kind of bored. You're just like, I'm not pushing for anything. Like, despite March being my hardest month all year, it was like so fun at the same time, if that makes sense. So like
Mm.
I'm going to Mexico in 3 days and I'm like trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to like continue to grow and build something while I don't know, having fun in Mexico. So
Mm.
we'll see.
What are your hours looking like right now? Like what's your schedule?
It's getting busier now. Um, Depends on calls, to be honest. Like today, for example, I have been in back-to-back meetings since 9 a.m. pretty well. Um,
Right.
but like most days, it's like I have a couple calls in the morning and then maybe like an hour or two of client work, and then I can just take a nap.
Oh, so it's only like an hour to a day right now?
Pretty much. Like depends on the day. I also happen to be somebody that like procrastinates like crazy, so
Mm.
there like I'll literally do nothing for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday, and I'll leave my room. So
Yeah, no, I get that. I
yeah,
definitely feel that. I know you can't share too much about like the actual clients that you have, but like,
yeah,
can you describe like the nature of the work and maybe like how you got them too? So like the I think it's with three clients you're working with right now.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What does that kind of look like for each client? Like, what are
It
you
was
doing?
all I signed them all through cold outreach. One of them through email, the other two through DM. Yeah, and it was honestly like it's so funny, like the way I signed two of the bigger ones. It was actually just like the most casual kind of thing, like how it happened, which is so funny because like I think for like most of my journey, I definitely overthought everything and like every like lead I had, I would like freak out before the sales call and like one of these clients, for example, um lives in Australia. So the time difference is like 12 hours between me and her. And like I remember
Mhm.
like our first call, she DM'd me at like midnight and was like, "Hey, are you free right now?" And we like hopped on FaceTime and I was like in my pajamas. Like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we got along really well and that was just kind of it. Like I knew we'd be working together just off of like how easily we kind of like conversation went, you know?
And that's info
Yeah.
or agency?
Info. Agencies
Okay.
definitely, from my experience, definitely a little bit more. I mean, more professional. Like it's an agency, it's not a person, but depends on the agency. Like I took a very corporate route when I was signing agencies. Like I did a lot of LinkedIn outreach, and yeah, like I didn't touch Twitter, which like I'm gonna start doing because I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, Twitter's awesome. And like you would be great on Twitter too, because like you actually have thoughts. I think that's important. A lot of people are like, I'm gonna grow my personal brand on Twitter. And it's like, dude, like you
You have nothing to add. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes
But
sense.
okay, so you said something, you said like 12K a month and you're kind of chilling. Is that because you feel like a little bit burnt out, or do you feel like actually secure in that like those clients aren't going anywhere, like you're kind of set with them?
I think I needed to chill a little bit in order to kind of get used to like living my life, but also like executing on the deliverables that they needed me to do.
Mm.
I knew that like I wasn't gonna just be chilling forever, but I think I definitely did need a minute to like kind of get used to it a little. Especially since I've been fucking traveling so much, like I didn't honestly really have time to like make a decision to be like, okay, like this is when you're gonna start growing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, Secure in the clients definitely, but like it is, you know, the nature of it is just kind of like you're always gonna want to be signing more and, you know, growing, right?
Another thing too, I think you probably sent us like two or three of your friends that you were like, you should probably join in a circle. And like, I don't know what those conversations look like behind the scenes, but like, are your friends kind of like noticing like, okay, Claire's like all of a sudden like just got bread, or like what happened? Like, they've been asking you about copywriting for a while. Like, how does that work?
Like, honestly, it was really funny because like I spent most of this year, like I joined in August, right? I spent most of this year getting a whole lot of like, wait, what is it that you do? Like, people had
Mm.
no idea what the fuck I did. Like, people just saw me kind of like fucking off and like making money somehow, but not knowing how I did it. And then things changed when I started posting about it because I was really, really quiet about it for until I started to see some like results that I was actually proud of. And then when I started making some TikTok videos about it, and then my phone just started blowing up. Yeah.
That's,
And I travel
yeah.
and like yeah, like you said, like I definitely have a life and I like share a lot of it on Instagram.
Mhm.
And yeah, people just see like, oh, she's having fun. How is she doing this? Like, does she have a job? Like,
Yeah.
you know
Right.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best position to be in. I was telling Tash the same thing where I feel like you're at like the perfect sweet spot, especially in like, I mean, you live in the middle of nowhere, Canada. Like when I was in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere, Canada, and I was making that, like I felt richer than like me now in Miami, like where I'm at.
Yeah,
Like so,
exactly.
it's like
Literally.
a perfect little pocket to be in where it's like you're not working too much. You know what I mean? Like you have a ton of free time, but like the actual effort doesn't match like the outcome.
Yeah.
Like you're way above like where you should be. But like
100%.
I'm also curious. So you're an interesting case because you came to the inner circle with zero. Like you didn't have any idea really what copywriting was. Like you kind of started with us from complete scratch.
Yeah.
What was the journey like for you? Like what did you kind of learn and in what order to get you to where you're at now? And like what do you think are some of like the biggest lessons you kind of took from whether it's the course content or the coaching calls or just like being inside the community?
It was really up and down. Like, I had just this very naive belief that I would learn it, I would send the client, I would get there, and it would be easy, which is
Hmm.
never the case. But I, I think I overthought a lot of things, especially when it came to like getting people on sales calls and stuff, because like there's a lot of shit you can read into, and a lot of it's true. Like all these like sales tactics are backed by psychology, and it's all real. But I think like at the end of the day, like if you don't have a background in sales, like the biggest thing you can do is just be a normal human being and like be confident in what you're trying to sell, you know? Um,
Hmm.
that was honestly probably one of the biggest things for me. And in terms of outreach, I mean, stop overthinking it and personalize it. Like you'd way rather spend less outreach that's like high quality than like hit crazy numbers and just like look like every other like bot in the DMs, you know?
When you say personalized, like, do you mean like you make comments about like them as a person, or is it like really like just intricate details about their business? Like, how are you kind of
It's like
personalizing
that.
it?
It's like that now, but like in the beginning, I mean, honestly, like I didn't know enough to like feel like I could come in and give them business advice because I felt like I was like, I don't even know anything, you know? Personalize it just like, yeah, I mean, just like share value, you know? Like they want to know that you know what you're talking about. Even just like offer them a free sample and send it to them. Like I feel like people are so against free work, I guess, but it's like that's what people want to see. Like they're not going to sign somebody if they don't know what know that you know what you're talking about, you know?
Yeah, there's a big difference between like free work, like doing like a trial month, which I hate. I never
I hate that
recommend
too.
that.
That's not what I mean.
Versus
Yeah.
like putting an email, like, because you've been doing this long enough now, where it's like if you have the basic details of a business, like you can look at them and put together like a 300 word email that you think would
Yeah.
probably do well, and it would be like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like if someone's warm and they're this close to signing you, like that's 10 minutes well spent. You know what I mean?
100%. But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like people are so afraid to like offer them a free sample or like send a loom. It's like a loom will take you less than 2 minutes if you know what to tell them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So 12K a month now, and now you're moving out, and you want to travel more. Does that kind of light a fire under you? Like you looking, do you have your sights set
Yes.
on like 2025 now? Like,
Yeah. So 20K a month is like my goal by Christmas. Like when I fly back home for Christmas, I want to be like big chillin' at 20K.
hmm
Which I know is doable because I was at a point like not even like 5 months ago where I didn't think 10K was possible, right? Yeah, travel more, but also like, I mean, I'm literally moving across the country. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around that first. Because again, like, you got to think about it. Like, all of this for me happened so fast. 1 month, like, a 30-day jump to like from 1,500 to 12K a month is like I suddenly could move. I could try, like, that was a big deal
hmm
mentally, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, move, kind of get used to living in a different place on my own, which is super exciting. Travel and yeah, I'm just excited to grow too. Like I think once I kind of realized how quickly I was able to do so, um, yeah, I mean it definitely lights a fire under you for sure.
So that's the plan, is 20K a month by Christmas.
Yeah,
Okay, I think that's super doable, because like you hit like multipliers. Like it's not going to take you as long as it took you to get to 12K to get to you know what I mean? Like
well,
it's
exactly, and
not
I
gonna,
know, like I know what it takes to like get there quickly. I feel, like yeah, I mean it effectively took me like realistically 30 days to get to 10K because the outreach I was doing up until that point didn't fucking matter in my eyes. You know what I mean? It was
yeah.
ineffective. I wasn't really listening to like all the value that was given to me through the coaching calls. I was kind of just like throwing shit at the wall and hoping it would stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's doable. So I'm excited for what comes.
Just to wrap it up real quick, do you have any like, if you could talk to like Claire from like a year ago and kind of tell her like something to take with her to make this journey maybe less treacherous, like what would you tell that version of Claire?
Oh my God. um, just like I feel like early students get stuck in this loop of like having so much self-doubt that they're not going to actually commit all of themselves to what they're doing because they still have that imposter syndrome and that doubt, right? Like I think I would have definitely tried to tell myself like you know more than you think you know. Um and like you would way rather do really hard work for 3 weeks than like a bunch of like half-assed work for 3 months. Because in my eyes, that's kind of like exactly what it was for me, you know?
That's solid. Yeah, like you can organize in a sprint where if you really want to, get something working really quick in this world of freelancing and what we do, like yeah, 3 weeks is a fucking lifetime. 3 weeks is equal to a year for some people.
Well, yeah, and that was it. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, I did 1 month of, or not 1 month, like, I remember doing my first week of just like hard ass outreach. And I was getting replies. I was hopping on calls and I was like, okay, like the wheels are turning way faster than I thought they would. Whereas, like, in November, I was on month 3 or 4 of cold outreach and like I think I'd hopped on like my first call that month. Like even
Hmm.
just in terms of like mentality and being able to like push through, like it's easier to do it for a shorter amount of time. For most people, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. And then you get
Yeah.
to reap the rewards for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like that 3 weeks can feed you for the rest of the year. So that's awesome. I'm
Literally.
super proud of you. I'm so glad you're finally like feeling good about this and crushing it and all that stuff. And um, I can't wait to see like where you're at by Christmas. I fully believe you'll be at 20K a month and beyond for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. So,
Where can people find you if they want to follow your stuff? Do you want to shout yourself out?
Instagram. So it's Claire E. Batcock, Battcock, and same for TikTok.
All right, and Twitter too.
I need to get on. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, but I don't have any followers. Like, follow
Okay,
my
go
Twitter so I can start posting on Twitter. Same thing,
go be Claire's first follower.
please. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Claire. Everybody else watching, click the link in the description. You can hang out with me and Claire inside the inner circle, and we'll make you rich. All right. Peace.